Hi, I'm Julia Henze, an artist, urban sketcher, and art teacher dedicated to guiding you on your creative journey. I'm also the founder of Brave Brushes Studio and membership for amateur artists and urban sketchers that will help you unlock your creativity and find peace and joy in the process. Lately in Brave Brushes Studio, we've been practicing the green pen method during our live sketching sessions. Unlike when your school teacher used to circle all your mistakes in red pen, the green pen method encourages you to focus on what you are doing well while you're sketching. So rather than paying attention to the shaky line you drew, take note of your accurate proportions or the beautiful granulation in your watercolor wash. Today I'm going to teach you the green pen method using these two expressive watercolor sketches, which are from January's live sketching events in Brave Brushes Studio. These workshops were part of our group run through of the basics of urban sketching and were for beginners and more intermediate students, respectively. For each sketch, I want to notice three things I'm happy with, followed by one thing that I would do differently next time. Reviewing their sketches using the green pen method is helping Brave Brushes members learn more quickly and develop their sketching confidence. And so I want to share it with you too. Reflecting on your past work is a key part of developing your style over time and staying motivated in your sketching practice. So take a moment to grab your most recent sketch and let's get started. Okay, let's take a look at the first sketch. And this is a sketch that we created during our beginners workshop. Beginners live stream. And if you're thinking now something like, Julia, how is this a beginner's workshop? It looks so complicated. There is so much going on in this sketch, and I'm sure I can't draw or paint something like this sketch, actually. I have to say a few things about that. First of all, I take you step by step through the whole process. Even if you're early beginner, you will create a beautiful sketch that you will be proud of. I'm sure, and it won't be exactly the same quality of the sketch, but I'm sure you will create something really great. The next thing that I want to share with you about this a live stream like this is that before we start this live stream, usually we do a few tutorials, and in this sketch there are 4 tutorials in Brave Brushes that prepare you for a sketch like this. This is what we did in January, and in January we had this adventure called The Basics of Urban Sketching. It was about proportions, drawing straight lines, coloring with watercolor, and adding shadow. So before you start to draw something like this, to sketch something like this, you have already practiced with different skills like measuring proportions, drawing straight lines, and so forth. So it's not that difficult anymore for you. Okay, and the third thing that I want to share, and it's a very, very important one, especially for beginners, because I want you to understand that you are doing every single sketch on your own level. So just accept your own level and be proud of it. Even if you just start your creative journey and all your lines are wonky and not very beautiful, your colors wrung out the lines, and I don't know, all the mistakes that you can make. Be proud of what you do, and be proud of taking this challenge to starting to doing something that a lot of people don't even dare. I think it's very important to understand. And yeah, this green pen method is something that will help everyone to develop their skills. And my challenging points will be different from yours. And it will be different for everyone, actually. And okay, so now let's take a look at what are the three things that I really love in my sketch and one thing that I would like to improve next time. First of all, I'm really happy with the proportions in this sketch. I don't follow the proportions every time I sketch. Sometimes I don't measure anything. I just draw what I want and I don't care that much about the proportions. And that's also because I have a lot of experience and sometimes something is wider or narrower than it is in reality, but it looks great, it's recognizable, and this is what I actually want to achieve in my sketches. Also, I want to achieve an impression rather than the exact proportions, exact look. And as you know, I also don't use the same colors in my sketches. Why would I bother about the proportions that much? So it's my impression of what I see in the reference. However, I think it's very important to practice with them time to time, especially when you're a beginner. So the second thing that I really like in this sketch is the background, especially this part of the background, and you can see that it looks a little bit granulating and a little bit like vague. You can guess that there are some trees in the background, but you can't really say how many of them and what trees these are and all these things. So it's just an impression of a few trees in the background behind this beautiful house. And the third thing that I really love in this sketch is the overall look, actually. I really love that I chose to use these complementary colors for this sketch. The stones weren't really orange, but orange and blue are complementary colors, and that makes our sketches always look more impressive, more interesting. So this is something that I really like, and I also really love how I created the sense of depth in this sketch, because you can see that especially the house in the middle ground is quite detailed. And also we have here some dark shadows. The colors are much brighter, and also there is a lot of contrast. It feels like this house is in the foreground, or at least closer to us, than the trees in the background. So this, I think, the sense of depth looks really great here. Maybe I would make these trees a little bit less present, especially this one, but I think it looks really good. So 3 green pen things. The things that I really like in this sketch and will try to apply in my next sketches. And there is one thing that I don't want to say that I don't like it. I would say that I want to do it differently in the next sketch, or I want to pay more attention to things like this when I will draw a similar sketch. It doesn't really mean that my next sketch will be exactly the same, but if I choose to draw something where I will have something similar in the sketch, I will do it differently. And it's about these 2 trees. I think they are a little bit too symmetrical in this sketch. So it looks a little bit like they divide this sketch into 3 equal parts, pretty much equal. And I don't think I wanted to create a look like this. So I would say let's remove this one or make it a little bit less present, or I don't know. Whatever it is, it depends on what I would do in the next, what my next reference will be, similar to this one, and I will choose something different than divide the sketch into 3 parts. I think it will look much better than Okay, so this was the first sketch I wanted to discuss. Let's go over to the next one. And the next one is from the intermediate sketching live stream, and I can imagine that you already know why is this an intermediate level live stream. It's because of perspective. It's an interior. Interior is actually always more complicated to sketch than something like just the front of a house or something like this, because very often there is perspective. This is a two-point perspective, but the vanishing points that we would have for this two-point perspective are way beyond our paper, and that's something that makes this sketch very complicated to create, actually. And this is why I decided not to use the rules of perspective for this sketch, but use the rules of building up proportions. So we measured every single part of the most important parts of this sketch, and this way we build up the whole composition. And as you can see, it looks like it's everything is in perspective here. We see that the background is also in perspective, so it looks good. And it was a good way to show my students that there are sometimes different ways to how we can approach sketches. It's not always one technique that you can use. Sometimes there are options. Anyway, what I like about this sketch is, first of all, that the perspective looks good, and that's because we measured all the proportions first, and then I took a very close look at the certain parts that were maybe not perfectly right, and I changed these parts and created a better look. So now it looks really good to me. Also, I really love the cohesive look here. And what does it mean? I very often talk about a cohesive look, and for me, and this is how I actually learned to create something like this. It's about, for example, using in different parts of the sketch the same colors. Like here, I actually used a limited color palette. I didn't use that many colors, but they all spread around the whole picture, and that makes the picture look actually quite cohesive and like a whole thing. Okay, the third thing that I really like here is that I very often tend to color everything. If you know my works, you know that it's very often almost completely colored. And in this sketch, I tried to avoid it. I wanted to create a lighter look. Like here, for example, I didn't draw anything. In the reference, of course, there were many more of these wooden planks, but I thought it doesn't really matter if I draw them. I can imagine that if you look at this picture, you think, yeah, probably they are also there, but it's not necessary for our eyes to have all these lines there, because our eyes make up the rest of the picture themselves. And yeah, that's also something that helps me create more focus in the foreground. This is what I wanted to do here. This part is the most important for me. Also the lamps maybe, and the plant on the counter, but the background is less important. So this way I created a sense of depth, also a beautiful picture, cohesive, perspective is right. So I'm very happy. What I would like to do differently, if I would do this sketch once again, or use a similar reference, I would create more contrast in this sketch, especially here, I think. That means that I would use darker colors for that. Of course, now I also can add darker colors to this sketch. If I add another layer, it would be darker. I don't want to do it now. But the next time I would try to create more contrast, that's all. And also for this sketch, it means that I will keep all the things that I love here. I will remember them for the next time. It's always better to write them down and draw intentionally. Use these notes for the next sketches. Of course, both the beautiful and the challenging things. And this way you will develop your skills so much faster than when you think that nothing is right in your sketch. Now it's your turn. Take a look at your sketch with fresh eyes. Think about 3 things that you're happy with and 1 thing that you would like to improve. And next time you start a sketch, try to notice what's going well while you're sketching. Of course, it takes time to develop a consistent practice with the green pen method, but it's worth the effort. If you'd like to join our supportive community at Brave Brushes Studio, head to bravebrushes.com to become a member. You can watch the replays to complete both sketches I've shown you in this video. And this month, we're learning the most fundamental watercolor skills you need for urban sketching. Let me know in the comments how you found using this green pen method to review your sketch. Is it something you will continue to use? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Happy sketching, guys, and I'll see you next week.